Call this MSBU Advisory Committee to order, if you would. Let's please stand for the invocation and the pledge. Lord, we thank you for this wonderful afternoon to come together. We ask that you guide our decisions and our choices and our words tonight, that we make good decisions and choices for our community, Lord, Sunny Hills, in which we live, and we just give you the praise and the glory for the opportunity to come and do that, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming tonight. See a few more faces in the crowd than we normally have, and we're glad to have that because we are the extension of Sunny Hills, and we report directly to the county commissioners and the county administrator. I want to let everybody know that we're about to adopt the agenda here in a moment, but there are a couple of items that we got in a little bit late as committee members, and so we're a little less formal than a county commission meeting, so I'd like to call off those additional items that we'd like to add to the agenda and discuss it amongst our committee members up here, and we'll ask for a vote as to whether or not to add those items. And one of those is the sign discussion. Mr. Steve Healis brought that to our attention. That's something we'd like to continue to follow, and we'll talk in more detail about exactly what that means, the sign. Also the budget, the status of our MSBU right now. Also, the agenda itself, the submission time frame, we'd like to ask for a little bit of clarification on how we can help with that process. We've talked about it a little bit. We want to get some clarification. And also the coordinator position possibility, a little discussion on that as well. So those are the four items that I have that we've mentioned to add to the agenda.
What was the one before the coordinator?
When to submit agenda items to Jessica, the process in which we would do that so that it could be timely put out to the public as well for those that may want to take a look at the agenda before the night of the meeting. Do I hear any discussion or comment on adding those items to the agenda?
I'll make a motion to add them to the agenda.
And I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to add these items to our agenda. All opposed, please say, or all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. We'll add these to the agenda. Okay, so one of the things that we always encourage folks to do when they come to our meeting, because again, we are the ears and eyes of this committee. We serve you all as the Sunny Hills residents. We like to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to share any concerns that they have, likes, dislikes, and we ask that you keep it very positive. I have a sign-in sheet here with 3 individuals that have asked to speak tonight. What we generally do is allow for up to 3 minutes. You certainly don't feel like you have to take all that time. If you have something on your heart you'd like to share with us, we'll certainly make notes and we'll address that in the meeting before we leave this evening. So with that said, I'd like to ask the first on my list here, in no particular order, Mr. Bob Farley to come forward and share his concerns. I notice your topic is the mowing procedure, sir.
I've got some materials for you, and I don't speak very fast, so 3 minutes is going to go by real fast for me.
Thank you, sir.
I don't know how much leeway you have in that.
Bob, I know that we have also on our agenda tonight, our topic is the mowing contract performance and status. So we have the company here represented, so if we need to revisit this later, we can too. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay.
Speak into the microphone if you would so everyone can hear you, please, sir.
I'm Bob Farley, 1728 Salem, in Sunny Hills. I'm a consultant for the State Department of Transportation here in Chipley, District 3. My title is Vegetation Management Specialist, and I also do the wildflower program for the district. And I wanted to address some concerns about the vegetation management, the roadside mowing. The first 2 pages I have in your packet here were excerpts from the Department of Transportation Vegetation Management Guide, and it's concerning mowing height and frequency. And basically, when you mow it too closely, when you scalp it, the grass degrades and you come up with dirt. And I'll let you read this up on your own, but in the first photograph is taken in Sunny Hills, and I think it illustrates what I'm talking about. When the grass is scalped and it turns dirt, and then the mowers run over the dirt, they throw it away from the roadway, and that erodes the soil in the shoulder. And what happens is, turns out to be a dangerous situation. The next photograph, you can see that for a long period here, for a long profile of the roadway, if a car runs off, it's very difficult to get back on if there's a 6-inch drop right there. That's like running off of a curb. So that makes for a dangerous situation for a car running off the road. The next photograph shows what happens when the pavement starts breaking off and the asphalt starts getting into the path of the mower. Those turn into projectiles, and that can also be a dangerous situation. The next photograph shows what happens when it degrades even further and the roadway starts breaking apart and getting into the travel lane. On the other side of that yellow line is actually considered the travel lane, and that's a liability. If somebody happens to become injured because there's a deficiency in the roadway in the travel lane, then that becomes a liability. The next photograph shows what happens when dirt is on a slope and you get erosion. Erosion is scouring of the dirt that runs down that slope. You probably all know where this is. But erosion, when it comes to the bottom of the hill, becomes sedimentation. And then it gets on the road, and that causes another traffic issue. So basically, what I'm proposing is mowing according to good management practices, and those management practices include a sufficient height to allow grass to grow. Plants make their own food, and if you deny them that capability, they will slowly decline and die. The more you cut the grass, the less healthy it will be. 6 inches is the standard that the Department of Transportation uses for rural grass, and the standard, as I've known my entire career, is never cut more than 1/3 of the blade. If it's 6 inches, then cutting 4 inches is the max, and 6 inches is what we go for. The second part of my little talk here is about the wildflowers in Sunny Hills. I'm a wildflower enthusiast. I've been a nursery owner. I'm a landscape architect. I've done this all my life, and Sunny Hills is a beautiful place. You may or may not get out much, but I do. I enjoy walking in the woods. I enjoy walking along the roadsides. I enjoy the plants, and I have to tell you that it's a very special place. Just recently, I've discovered several threatened and endangered species. In fact, I just discovered a plant that is only known in one other location in the state of Florida. In other words, this plant only occurs in Washington County in the state of Florida and Santa Rosa County. But this photograph is on Washington Avenue. This little plant is called scrub balm. It flowers in the fall. It's an annual, and the only way to maintain it from year to year is by distributing its seeds. So timing of mowing is very important if you want some scenic wildflowers. The County Commission has adopted a resolution to promote roadside wildflowers in Washington County, and the procedure is that a local group will get together. In Washington County, it tends to be the master gardeners, but they're a grassroots group that is getting together and requesting wildflower roads for Washington County. The Economic Development Council, I may be getting that wrong. TDC is going to try and promote it as a wildflower route to try and promote ecotourism in the county. And I was part of the group that went and toured the county to identify roads that were potential, and I tried to lobby for Sunny Hills because it has some wildflower roads that are really very excellent candidates for this program. They were a little reluctant because they didn't know exactly how the mowing could be regulated, because it takes a reduced mowing regime to promote wildflowers. But Washington Avenue, Golden Hills, Hampshire, there's a number of roads that have really excellent wildflower populations, and this is one. The next picture shows you a little close-up of this pretty little flower. And this is the same place in the spring. The next photograph is the place in the spring that shows the little Phlox nivalis, which is a rather rare phlox here in Florida. It occurs in the sand hills, of which Sunny Hills has a lot. And then the final picture is the close-up of that little flower. And I brought, the scrub balm is a very wonderful little plant. I brought just some pieces so you can smell. Those were picked last fall. Anyway, that's it for me.
Mr. Farley, thank you, sir. Before you go, just in closing, you made some comments and some suggestions. Thank you for that, and we'll certainly address those concerns. May even call you back up to help me sort through what it is you'd like to see at some point. Thank you, sir. Is your contact information? Thank you.
Did you speak at the meeting at the community center?
I did.
I remember you.
Tried to tell everybody what a wonderful place this is.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We fully agree.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
I'd like to pursue this just a little bit farther if we could. I took some pictures, a picture today at the 231 entrance to the state of Florida at the reception center, and that's a perfect example of the wildflowers. And I think I'd like to see our county talk with Robert and get involved and see if we can work with the county mowers to make something like this happen. It seems like it's all good, and
Well, the wildflower program also includes the county. I'm just involved with the state, that's my jurisdiction, but the grassroots group also works with the county administrator to identify county roads.
Thank you, Mr. Farley. As you can see, we certainly appreciate any input from the community, and think this is very valuable, so we'll certainly continue to look at that. Also on our list tonight to speak in reference to the lighting, Bob, help me with your last name. Boer, Bob Boer. If you would, sir, please come forward. And bear in mind, too, this is the first time we've met as a committee since the lights have been modified from their older state. So we'll also be addressing that, but please, we'd love to hear your comments, sir.
Okay, I've talked with Mr. Hartman on the phone on that, and I don't know, Mr. Jones, I believe I've talked to him, I don't know, didn't know either one of the gentlemen or anything. You might say I'm a single issue person. I'm concerned about a street light on the corner of Kenlock and Lily, and I see you got the solar lights listed on here. So I would like to make a recommendation that from what I found out, no one knows any history about them, no one knows anything. Let's either get someone in here that does, repair it, or replace it. It's real simple. It doesn't work, and I understand that may be other ones in the community that don't work, and so forth and so on. So you may know more about it, Ben. You have it on the agenda from the county administrator. But like I said, the research that I did, someone that has the records don't work for the county anymore. The records have got lost. No one knows this. The guy was supposed to do that. Everyone's been kicking the can down the road that I've talked to, and so let's get something done. Either get them out of there, replace them, or do something. We got all these other lights. back to back up on the boulevard. Let's get some lights down on the intersections there, and it's another intersection up there at Elkan and Deltona Boulevard. Four-way stop, dark as hell at night, excuse my French. But it's some places around there, I'm quite sure, other intersections that need some lighting on them. If we're going to have lights down the boulevard and drive off into the woods and it's dark, what in the hell is the need of having those down the boulevard? Thank you.
Before you go, well, don't go away
Okay.
so fast. Since we spoke on the phone, I did bring this to the attention of the county administrator, and they have found the records, and they have brought some people out to look at the lights and given us an estimate, so we're working on it.
Okay.
We're working on, we're even talking about perhaps converting them to regular lights and getting some cost, but they've taken an initiative on that, and we have the information.
And along that lights, I see, I'm not promoting solar, I'm not promoting this. I know anytime you run lights, you got to run wires. Solar is more or less self-sufficient till you have about 3 cloudy days and you don't have any lights.
Yeah, but the batteries aren't, that's the problem.
But I do know that the state down there right before Highway 20 has that parking lot with solar lights in it. I saw the National Guard Armory has installed a smaller type solar lights, so I know they're available around here and people have the knowledge about them and everything. It's just getting a hold of them and doing something about it.
Well, we have started working on it since we talked.
Okay, then, thank you.
If anyone knows where to find a point of contact at, we're more than
They've got it.
open to listen. I'm not talking about the ones we currently have.
Oh.
I'm talking like any points of contact for the ones type that you said down there at the parking lot and all that. If you know anyone that knows that information, please give it to us.
Well, you've got county, you've got people on the county that are in contact with the state, and I'm quite sure the state, DOT, put those lights in and controls them and everything. All you got to do in that coffee circle of a morning and says, hey, that's what you know about solar lights. I've been around enough of those meetings when you get people together and you bring it up, someone knows something that's an expert because they're there. And they're on the payroll of the taxpayers too. They're county or state employees that have the knowledge. It's just getting a hold of the right one. And I don't have the authority to call them up and say, hey, I'm Bob Boer. The county commissioner or someone can call up and say, hey, excuse me, I'm so-and-so with the Washington County. I would like some information, and I'm quite sure that you'll be referred to the people that will give you the information.
Mr. Brewer, what intersection was that you spoke of? Lily?
Lily and Kenlock.
Kenlog?
Kenlock.
Kenlock, got it.
It's one up on Kenlock in Salem that works.
Okay.
And how they were put in or how they were determined where they were put in at the time. And I understand there's probably 8 or 10 of them around in Sunny Hills at this time.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir, for that information. Our third and final individual that would like to speak tonight with us would be Ms. Barbara Hayes. Barbara, if you would please come forward. I see your topic is that of speeding.
I live on Hunt Court and Country Club Boulevard, the first house off of Deltona on the right. And soon as the cars come up and turn on to Country Club Road, they zoom by my house. I mean, the speed limit's 35 and they gotta be going 55 through there. I was coming in Sunny Hills Boulevard one day and a policeman was there ticketing a white truck. So I pulled off on up above and waited till he left the truck, and then I questioned him about it. And he said, be patient with us. It's only 4 of us, and we will address the situation. And then I saw, not long after that, that they had the sign down there registering their speed on Sunny Hills Boulevard, but I've never seen it up on my end.
You don't want to see it on yours. Because they consider that a challenge rather than telling them when they're supposed to stop.
I know, but I'm from Virginia and I've been here 2 years in Sunny Hills, almost. And, you know, everywhere I go, not just there, but everywhere, it's speeding galore. I mean, the counties could make so much money if they would ticket these people. I mean, it's unreal. If I'm going 65 or 70, they're passing me going 85 or whatever. But also, I know I didn't put it on there about the lighting. Is it supposed to be one light for every house in Sunny Hills or something like that? It was in the newsletter, but I didn't make sense of it.
I'll take that.
Okay, Steve, please do, yes, sir.
Okay, there's history there, okay, first off, that's one thing. Now, no, not everyone in Sunny Hills will get a light in front of their house. It's impossible to do at $31 a year to do that, one. And two, it's not intended to that. A lot of places don't, like, we gotta look at the Elkham and Deltona Boulevard. Is there even power there? There probably is no power, so if you wanna,
Or light poles, one on each corner.
I understand that, but if there's lights, I don't even look at it. I live right there and I don't even pay attention to it. But it's not nobody's gonna get, you know, we're gonna try to do intersections and try to, you know, make everybody happy that way, but not everybody in the front, like I have one in front of my house, but I pay for that every
Well, I
month.
paid for one on the side of my
Okay.
house, but
So, you know, I'm saying
It
that's,
is one
that
on
was
the
just a
end
choice
of
I
our
made.
lot,
Because
so-
I'd be living in the darkness myself. And, because there's no lights anywhere near me. So, but to answer the question, no, there will not, whatever that is erroneous data that's put into that Civic Association letter.
I didn't know about that light on the corner of my lot there, whether it was supposed to be one that was working or not working, but, okay.
But if there's a light already there, is that what you're saying? Then if it's out, then yes, we can probably get that repaired. I did not realize that was your question.
Well,
Is it on private property?
no, it's out on the frontage, road frontage there, in
Okay.
front of my house, beside my house.
It's on a pole, up on
Uh-huh.
a light pole?
Mhm.
That might have been put up by a previous owner, and then you would need to contact Gulf Power
I don't know.
and start, because we put one up on a pole by our house, and we pay on our
Well,
bill.
They probably did put the one up that I am paying for, it's in my yard.
Oh, yeah. if you
Okay, but
pay
I
for
don't
it.
know about the one out on the street.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't either, I'd have to look at
It's
it.
right in front of Polo, I think. You know, I'm facing my yard, or in my yard.
I go to work every day, I know Elkham Boulevard and the road I live on, that's it. I can even see the road I live on, right, Westbrook.
Ms. Hayes, thank you, thank you.
Don't run off yet. You don't have to leave so fast. I live on the boulevard and the cars drive 90 there, so I understand.
Why they're in
Have
a
you called the
hurry.
sheriff? Have you called the sheriff?
I have not called him,
Why-
I spoke to the one.
Why, well, he's the sheriff's deputy. Why don't, he has a boss and he's the sheriff.
I don't know.
Give him a call. And express your dissatisfaction with the speeders there, because it's not the first time he's heard it. I talk to him all the time about it. And, you know, if enough people would complain, maybe we could get the attention that we need there.
Even motorcycles, you know, a couple of them went by my house and they were just, each one individually was
90,
speeding.
100 miles an hour, I know.
And then one night it was like 5 or 7 trucks that was having a race through there. It was like after dark and, you know, 8 o'clock or whatever, and they were racing through there.
And the other thing I want to mention is that we would like to start a committee to look into where new street lights are supposed to go.
Yeah.
And would you like to be on that? Would you like to head up that committee?
I don't know.
We all have
I
full-time.
try not to volunteer for anything, but
Well, that's exactly what we are, all volunteers.
All of us volunteer and we all have full-time jobs. We don't have the opportunity to go around and look at all these places, but the county has all kinds of information available of where there are clusters of homes and where it may be advantageous to have streetlights. Not everybody wants them. Some people are very happy with their dark street. But in a normal city, the lights are on the corners. And, you know, we'd like to get some help. If you know someone that would like to join a committee to assist us in making some decisions, we'll be glad to fund that, but we need some help with it.
Well, let me think about it.
Okay.
It's just a volunteer thing to
That's
go
all it
around
is. That's all it
And
is.
what do I need to do?
We can talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, ma'am, but keep that in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
I think Gary's up is a good idea there. Ms. Hayes,
Okay.
thank you, ma'am, for that.
Okay,
And I've
thank
added
you.
speeding down lower on our, to talk about before we close.